Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to tell you a story. A simple one, really. It's about two people and a seat. Imagine this. Two people, let's call them Leo and Mia. For as long as anyone could remember, they were a pair. In class, at the cafeteria, on the bus, wherever there were seats, they were side by side. It wasn't something they ever talked about, it just was. Their spot was their spot. It was a silent understanding, a small shared world in a big, noisy one. Their conversations flowed effortlessly in that space, a bubble of jokes, dreams, and quiet support that only they understood. It was their constant, the one thing you could always count on. Then one Monday, something shifted. A new person, Alex, joined their class. Friendly, outgoing, and completely unaware of the unspoken rule. Alex saw an empty seat, not a space, not a buffer, but just a chair, and sat right down, right between Leo and Mia. The silence that followed was loud, louder than any conversation they'd ever had. Leo looked at Mia, Mia looked at Leo, and both looked at the stranger between them. It was just a seat, right? Logically, it was nothing, but it felt like everything. Suddenly, a simple lean-in to whisper a joke became an awkward stretch. A shared glance was intercepted. The invisible thread that connected them was now tangled around a third person. For the first time, Leo and Mia had to speak to each other from a distance. Their words had to travel past someone else's ears. It felt formal, strange. The easy rhythm they'd built over years was gone, replaced by a stilted and polite tempo. It wasn't Alex's fault, of course. How could they know? They were just looking for a place to sit. But to Leo and Mia, it felt like a wall had been built right through the middle of their home. Days turned into a week. Alex, cheerful and kind, tried to include both of them in conversation. "What are you guys talking about?" they'd ask, turning from one to the other. Leo and Mia would offer polite smiles and vague answers. The private jokes stayed unsaid. The shared worries remained locked away. They started to feel like strangers sitting next to a mutual acquaintance, not the inseparable pair they had always been. The physical distance of a single chair had created an emotional chasm that felt miles wide. Mia started finding excuses to sit elsewhere. "I need to be closer to the front," she'd say. Leo would end up sitting alone, with Alex on one side and an empty chair on the other. A chair that now felt more like a void than a space for his best friend. The shared silence that was once comfortable was now just empty. Their bond, which they thought was unbreakable, was being tested by something as simple as a seating arrangement. It made them question everything. Was their friendship so fragile that a third person could unravel it? Was their connection only real when they were physically next to each other? They stopped walking to class together, each trying to avoid the awkwardness of the inevitable seating shuffle. The small, comfortable world they had built was shrinking, and they were drifting apart without a single argument or cross word. One afternoon, Leo saw Mia sitting alone by the library window in a spot that wasn't their spot. He hesitated. The comfortable routine was broken, and he didn't know the new steps. But seeing her look so distant, he knew he couldn't let a chair win. He walked over and pulled up a seat next to her. Not in front of her, but right beside her. "Hey," he said softly. "Hey," she replied, not looking up from her book. "This is weird, isn't it?" Leo admitted. Mia finally looked at him, and a small, sad smile touched her lips. "Yeah, it's just a seat. It's so stupid." "No, it's not," Leo said. "It wasn't just a seat. It was our spot." And in that moment, they started to talk. Really talk. Not about the weather or homework, but about how the change had made them feel. Isolated. Disconnected. They realized their friendship wasn't built on a physical space, but it was nurtured there. That space was a symbol of their closeness, and when it was gone, they didn't know how to function without it. They understood that their bond was stronger than a seating chart. They just had to learn to adapt. They had to be intentional about their friendship, instead of relying on proximity and habit. The next day, Leo and Mia walked into class together. Alex was already there, sitting between their usual seats. Instead of separating, Leo smiled at Alex, and Mia pulled another chair to the end of the row so the three of them sat together. It was different. The bubble had expanded. It wasn't just for two anymore. Their friendship evolved. It became less about an exclusive space and more about a shared connection that could make room for others. The third seat didn't break them. It forced them to see that their foundation was strong enough to build upon, to welcome new people without losing what they had. It taught them that true connection isn't about who you sit next to, but about choosing to show up for each other no matter where you are. So maybe think about your own seats, the routines and comforts that define your relationships. What happens when they change? Does the connection fade, or does it find a new way to grow? Thanks so much for listening to this story with me today. If it resonated with you, I'd love it if you'd hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, take care.